Ladies and gentlemen, this week has been an absolute wild roller coaster of emotions. We have gotten an Avengers Doomsday trailer leak. Now, at the night that I'm recording this, we have gotten a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer leak. And now I'm going to be having to talk about both in the same video, which is a lot to edit. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. But the first thing I want to do is please make sure that you all are subscribed and have left a like on the video, and to please share with friends and family and that whole thing. Because, you know, if no one watches these videos, then genuinely, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So please make sure to go ahead and leave a like on the video if you guys are watching. Leave down your comments and your excitement for both Brand New Day and Doomsday, or maybe your skepticisms for both movies. We're going to be talking about both sides a little bit. I've been seeing a lot of love for Doomsday. I've been seeing a lot of hate for Doomsday.
Hep! Boo! Hep hep! Boo! Hep hep! Boo! Hep hep!
Boo! You stink!
Same thing for Brand New Day, so we're going to be going over both. Honestly, I'm trying to remain as optimistic as possible about these next two movies that are coming up here for the MCU. So next year is going to be crazy, guys. It's going to be crazy. So I would make sure that you guys are following on all my socials, which are linked in the description down below, and subscribe to the channel, of course. And so let's go ahead and get into this discourse about Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day. So this has been a crazy ride for Marvel in these last few days. Feige is readying that sniper. Like, he is quite literally going to be showing up to people's houses. I feel so sorry for all these leakers because they're not going to be around for much longer. But you know, this week has just been crazy in general for the MCU fandom, because it's just been like, we've been rushed with so many emotions this week. We've got revealed that Chris Evans is officially back in Avengers Doomsday. Steve Rogers is back. And we also got the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer leaked, which is just insane and wild, and we're going to be talking about that in later in today's video. But right now, I want to focus on Avengers Doomsday and all of its controversies. So, the main controversy with Avengers Doomsday is that Steve Rogers is indeed coming back, and a lot of people think that since Chris Evans is coming back, that is going to be undermining Anthony Mackie's Captain America. Which, here's my take on it. That's not going to be the case at all. We have seen so many comic book movies that have had so many characters, but that one character that really is the main focus of the movie, we still focus on that character. Now, I am not saying, because it has been reported that Chris Evans is the main lead in this movie, which do with that as you will, but just because he's going to be in the movie doesn't mean he's going to outshine anyone. We all knew that Chris Evans was going to be coming back in this movie, which is crazy to me, by the way, because it was reported months ago by the Hollywood Reporter that Chris Evans was officially back in Doomsday. Nobody gave a shit. Now, everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually doing it. This is such a horrible decision. And to those people, I say, please shut up, because you haven't seen a damn thing from the movie. We don't know what this movie is about, really. We know sort of an idea now that we know that Chris Evans is back. We know that we're going to be dealing with his whole time traveling thing at the end of Endgame, and how that is sort of being played out. We know by various reports by Daniel RPK and etc. that this movie is a direct sequel to Endgame, which makes total sense since that was Marvel's last big hit in theaters. Well, besides No Way Home. But, I mean, and Deadpool and Wolverine. But their last big hit that got everyone in seats was Endgame. And we haven't really had a moment like that since, so it would make sense that they're going to be making a direct sequel to that movie. And obviously it's the Russos, so I trust them completely with that character. And with these characters that are going to be in Doomsday, like the Fantastic Four, like the X-Men, like Chris Evans, Captain America, or Steve Rogers, I should say. Because, you know, there's that one comic panel where, like, you know, Steve is talking to Sam, and he's like, I'm not Captain America, I'm just Steve, bro. And, you know, that's pretty much what's going to be his role in Doomsday. I would almost guarantee that his role is going to be very similar to his role in Infinity War, where we're sort of seeing him, he's gathering the troops together, all of that, because I would assume that that teaser that we got is the opening scene for Doomsday, and Doom RDJ is going to be showing up to his house, and then they're going to fight, and then somehow Evans escapes, and he's going to be gathering the troops, being like, we got to fight this guy because this is bad news. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to be dealing with incursions and things like that, and with the X-Men universe, Fox universe sort of colliding. And then, you know, who knows, maybe seeing a Tobey Maguire or an Andrew Garfield, you know, here and there. But I really do think, I think it wouldn't be too shocking if we see at least Tobey in this movie. If we don't see Spider-Man in some way, shape, or form, I think it'll be like a crazy decision, considering that is Marvel's biggest character and that's what makes them the most money. But I do think that we're going to be seeing at least one version of Spider-Man, whether that's Tom, whether he snuck on the set while filming Brand New Day, or Tobey or Andrew. I do think, because it's been reported a lot, that Tobey's actually in Doomsday. So I just want to clarify that Chris Evans, not going to be, you know, overshadowing anyone. You know, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, oh my god, he's just going to undermine the whole cast. RDJ is going to undermine the whole cast. These actors have proven themselves on screen, and they know how to carry a film. They know how to handle themselves on screen. They know how to handle a frame. They got it. So I just don't understand this whole hate as to like, oh my god, I can't believe that we're just totally scrapping everyone else. That's not what's happening. It's not. By the way, as for Tobey and Andrew, I think it would make a lot more sense that we see them in Secret Wars than in Doomsday. But, you know, you never know what the Russos have planned. You know, so that whole thing is crazy. And by the way, Soups actually made up a pretty good point about this, where it was like, we've gotten movies like Across the Spider-Verse, No Way Home. Tobey and Andrew were, they were supporting characters in that movie. In Doomsday, okay, we're gonna be getting Chris Evans and RDJ and things like that. And in Into the Spider-Verse, we're getting Peter Parker. But does he outshine Miles Morales in those movies? Absolutely not. So I'm going to need everyone to hold their horses on this whole thing, because I think it's wild and crazy. So that's just personally my take on it. I don't think we're going to be undermining anybody. But let's go ahead and talk about not Mr., but, you know, Spider-Man Brand New Day. All right. Sorry, my friends were texting me and I just had a sort of cut. I know that was sort of an awkward cut. But let's go ahead and talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. So this trailer leaked. And it has been the main talk of tonight. It is going to be the main talk for the next few weeks, most likely, alongside Doomsday, when we do finally get those trailers in theaters and everyone is actually able to see them properly. But, Brand New Day, let's talk about it. I am very much liking the vibe of this film that it is giving off. I cannot say too much about what is in the trailer, but all you guys have to know is that there are amazing comic book references in this trailer. You hear Sadie Sink's voice in this trailer, which, by the way, we're going to be talking about that because that made no sense. I'm not going to get into specifics about what she said in the trailer that didn't make any sense, but I'll talk about it. Okay, I'm going to pause the video right here because I did indeed forget to talk about Sadie Sink later on in this video. Basically, in the trailer, she made a comment about Peter Parker and the world forgetting who he is. So does that mean that the spell is being broken in this movie? I have no idea. Please let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think. Anyway, back to the video. Anyway, we saw Tom Holland obviously back as Peter Parker, and that was cool. He's still in his same apartment, everything like that. That was really, really cool to see. Daniel Cretton has really put his own stamp on this character for sure, because it already has a different vibe than the Home trilogy already, which I love, and that's what I wanted for them to go for after No Way Home, to sort of wrap up that trilogy of movies. And after No Way Home, you know, I specifically said after that movie came out, being like, I would like it if maybe we tried something different with the character, and it seems like we are. It seems like in this movie we're going for much more of a comic book vibe, more of a comic book feel, which is really, really cool. In this trailer, we see a little snippet of Spider-Man fighting the Hand. I believe that's what the snippet was. It was very blurry. You couldn't really see much, but I'm pretty sure you could see like their red outfits, which was, you know, that got me hyped. No Bruce Banner, though. No Bruce Banner. We haven't seen the Hulk yet, which is interesting. But from how things are setting up, it looks like we're going to be getting a game day trailer for Brand New Day. It would make the most sense that we're going to be getting a Super Bowl trailer spot. That's what would make most sense to me. So that might be what we're doing. We might get it released online beforehand. I have no idea. I don't really know what their marketing strategy is for Brand New Day. I know their marketing strategy for Doomsday. Sorry, but for Brand New Day, I have no idea what they're wanting to do with that. Judging based off old Spider-Man films, they are probably going to ramp up the marketing here in a little bit. But, you know, Feige's probably screaming at the top of his lungs in his office, being like, can someone find these damn leaks that are coming out of my studio? You know, like, he is probably fuming right now. But also at the same time, Mr. Feige, you should be very grateful, because this is the most, you know, engagement and traction that you've gotten for the Marvel Universe in years. Okay? Like, just one trailer, the Doomsday teaser, was trending #1 on Twitter within seconds of it being leaked. Like, that was crazy. And same thing with Brand New Day. So you should be happy, sir. Now, should you be happy that people are gaining access to these files and linking them? No, not really. You know, do you have a little rat on the inside at Marvel Studios? More than likely. But, you know, besides that, I mean, it's great engagement, you know? So, I mean, that's cool, you know? Yeah. So with Brand New Day and Doomsday, I'm really excited. Here's one thing I do want to talk about, though. A lot of people for Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day, they're either on the skeptical side or they are on the optimistic side. I'm like on the thin line. I'm like right in between. Because with Doomsday, we've had so many controversies with fights happening on set and things like that, and all of those reports coming out. That's been interesting to watch and sort of view as an outsider. That's been really interesting on how they're handling that. So that is sort of weird. Obviously, we just got revealed that Chris Evans is coming back, so we're going to be sort of, you know, getting answers to that. And then with Brand New Day, I mean, all of these set photos that have come out have been absolutely amazing. And the only real, like, controversy coming out was Tom Holland getting injured on set, but he seems fine now. He seems to have really sprout back up and really went back to work really straight away. Like, he was back on set like a few days after, so that wasn't too big of a halt on the production of that movie. Yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at in terms of Doomsday and Brand New Day, is that I'm like right there on that thin line of skeptical, but also trying to remain as optimistic as possible. I'm trying to remain as level-headed as possible. This is the Russo brothers. This is Robert Downey Jr. This is Chris Evans. This is it's so much happening. And I would just love for both of these movies to be great. I would love for them to be awesome. Now, is Doomsday going to be like Infinity War level good? No, I don't think so. It would be a miracle if it was. But, you know, you never know. I think it is more likely for Secret Wars to be an Endgame level good than a Doomsday to be an Infinity War level good. Like, those two movies, they're never going to be done again. Like, you're never replicating that experience whatsoever. Which I think it is very, very interesting to see how they're going to tackle these next two movies, because they can't just do the same thing again, right? I do think that we are going to be getting an Endgame-like battle in Secret Wars. I think that's just going to happen, and I think that's what needs to happen, really, to get butts in seats. But, you know, this universe has been beloved for so long, and for people to finally start getting excited about it again and talking about it again has been really, really fun to watch. And by the way, next year has the potential to be one of the best years for comic book media ever. We have The Boys, season 5 coming out next year. We have Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, Invincible, Daredevil Born Again season 2. We have so much coming out, the Punisher special. We have so much coming out next year, and I really hope that people aren't just assholes and buttholes and just, you know, try to, you know, hate on as much as possible. Like, can we leave the hate in 2025. Please. Let's bring the 2016 vibes back. Let's bring the 2017 vibes back. Let's bring the 2018 vibes back. Let's bring the 2019 vibes back. Like, those years were peak. Just for life in general. Now, if that wasn't the case, I am sorry. But in terms of, comic book media content and pop culture, those were the years that everyone was really, honed in and locked in on being ready for these projects. And trying to remain as optimistic as possible. When an Infinity War was coming out or an Endgame was coming out, everyone was saying, trust the process, trust the process. It's the Russo brothers. And that's the same exact mentality we have to have with Doomsday and Secret Wars. Otherwise, that honestly just makes the Russo's jobs a lot harder if they don't have the fans, by their side. That makes it really hard for them because they're having to pour their heart and soul into this. But if the fans aren't on their side, that just makes their job 10 times harder. Now, that should motivate them to wanting to make a better movie, yes. But also, guys, we have been hating, and this hate train has been a non-stop. And this fandom is so divided now. And it's crazy to see. We were all sort of locked in back then, right? With every single new movie, we were like, oh my god, it's new peak. We're going to be getting peak. And then now it's like, I don't really want to watch the new Disney Plus show. I'm going to hate on it without even watching it. That's where we've gotten in terms of hate. It's crazy. Daredevil Born Again. That whole hate situation was crazy. People were like, it'll never be as good as the Netflix show. And I'm like, guys, I don't think we're ever going to be able to replicate something like the Netflix show. That was special. That was something really unique. We can try and get as close to it as possible. And I really do hope that we're able to up the quality in season 2 with Benson and Moorhead at the helm of that season. And, obviously Dario being the showrunner and everything like that, and Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and John Bernthal and everyone involved with that show. Well, I don't actually know if Bernthal is returning for season 2. I would like for him. Kristen Ritter, who is returning as Jessica Jones in season 2. They're all really, really big fans of these characters. So, again, I would just say my main message for 2026 is to lay off the hate. Let's bring in some optimism. Let's try and be as positive as possible. I understand skepticism. I'm skeptical for Doomsday and Brand New Day. Not really as much as Brand New Day, but Doomsday for sure. That's ride or die for the MCU. But I can't wait. I can't wait. Genuinely. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, one last thing I want to talk about. Doomsday. I've seen a lot of people like the Escape Pod podcast come out and being like, I don't really know the plot of this movie. I don't get it, I'm like, it's so obviously right there what the plot is going to be. It is a direct sequel to Endgame. We had a lot of unanswered questions at the end of Endgame. Why was Steve allowed to go back in time and do all of this, but, certain characters can't, and blah, blah, blah. And, Loki added on to that confusion. So, they're just going to be doing a lot of answering to a lot of unanswered questions. And this is the perfect opportunity for the Russos to do that. And by the way, I'm didn't Peggy quite literally have a family? So did Steve go back and intervene and be selfish and make that his family? And that's why we're sort of all up in arms? Maybe the TVA shows up to his house. I have no idea. Maybe this literally does pick up right after Endgame, which would be really interesting considering of how many projects we've had since Endgame. But, it's Marvel. It's a comic book movie. Sometimes you just gotta shut your brain off. But I hope that's not the direction they go. I hope they make it sense. I hope they make it in present day, and I hope that we're able to sort of connect all these dots. Because what Steve did at the end of Endgame left me visibly confused. I was like, yeah, great. I'm so glad you got your happy ending. But, also, how did you get your happy ending? Because, that doesn't make any sense to me. How are you allowed to do that? That's just weird. But, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Joshua Arce at Joshua Reviews, Movies and More. Please make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, etc. Please make sure to comment down below your thoughts on all this. And, yeah, shall catch you all in the next video. Take care and peace!